thank you for joining. YouTube is giving me actually zero feedback. It shows that I have nobody watching. And at the same time, in other forums, I can show I've got 3 or 4 people here. I've got it loaded on my phone and it's not registering either. So if you're just joining, we had a little bit of a technical problem this morning. I don't know what it was. The stream, I think on YouTube's side, just suddenly fell apart. Because I had, solid numbers here the entire morning when I first started and everything, and all of a sudden it showed no data, and it still says no data, but I can clearly see that I'm broadcasting. And what's causing that in YouTube, I don't know. I have no clue. These people have been running around basically committing any crime that they can come up with, just in order to test the water. And then they demand that the U.S. public and the other publics, the civilian population, just simply, oh, well, they're the government, they can do that. Oregon police firefighters sue Governor Kate Brown over vaccination mandate. There is no vaccination mandate. Kate Brown, we've already determined the fact, and this was months ago, that any of these mandates and things that they're handing down as a governor can only exist for 90 days. They can't sit there and reinvent the wheel every 90 days and, oh, well, we can do that. No, you can't. Oh, well, we did it for 90 days, we stopped for 10 days and did it again for 90. No, you can't do that. Ten words from Dr. Fauci that makes me optimistic about Medina's booster, even if it's delayed. You mean the third one? The third, well, the first 2 didn't work, boosters? How many people remember their high school and the fact that if you get vaccinated, you're vaccinated? There is no such thing as booster shots. Maybe for an ongoing infection you can't get rid of, or continuous exposure to, let's say, chemical exposure. You continue to get into the chemical, you're going to need shots in order to sit there and keep that away from you, and to continue treatment because you continue to be exposed to a chemical. Hello, thank you for joining. Today we have a gentleman that's been doing a lot of research on the behalf of WDRN. He also has products that is yet to be released in the U.S., ranging from how we grow our foods to how we maintain our health. This gentleman's name is Eddie Taylor, and he's on the phone now. Eddie, how you doing today?
Actually, these products are available in 50 countries as you speak for 30 years. Correction one, WDRN could be world dominion registered now.
Right now, I'm kind of thrown back with what news you brought me today. Basically, to put it in a nutshell, the possibilities of actually going national in less than a year is actually happening here. Can you explain how this kind of came about and how WDRN would fit into these finances?
Well, a little background, underground. Start with the ground. We stand on the ground, and for that, all life springs forth. Okay. So anyway, I know that's a big intro, and I have 10 minutes to show a blueprint that is meaningful and real for the future of WDRN to be regenerated as never before, and the health of people listening, and some trolls too. If they want to be healthy, if they get healthy enough, they might not be so stressed to bother good people. They might decide health is more entertaining than sickness, okay? But we're all addicted to sickness and polarity and hate and conflict. Most religions and politics are always oriented, well, who won? Who won? Who did we beat? Who did we beat? How about we all win something here? The foundation of life, okay? So anyway, correction one, these products I'm telling you about are quietly being sold in 50 to 60 countries for the last 30 years by at least a dozen companies, many in the United States, all based on these ancient humate deposits, Humate, human, humanity, humble, hey mate, humate, okay? What are these deposits? 75 million to 1 million year old soil deposits, ancient soil with all the richness of life that made the ancient civilizations that came along much later, called human beings, if they dared to try to be one, okay? Much later, their civilizations were based on this. The ancient Romans knew about humates. What are these things? They're soil deposits.
Well, this is the product that we'll be introducing across the platform. How did this financing come about? How long have you been working on this? You've been working on this for almost a month now, and you've been working on the humate for how long as well?
Well, yes and no. This is a composite of as many lives as you dare to believe in, or at least 60 years of my work and hundreds of years of many great scientists around the world from many disciplines, finance, science, biology, immunology. It goes on and on. So this is a big story to compress, but isn't that what a computer chip does? Okay, so I'll be the computer chip for the remaining 7 minutes.
Okay, well, how does WDRN and why is the growth of WDRN important to this program?
Because I see WDRN as the tip of the spear to launch a global campaign to show people you can be sick and fight and be sicker and fight more, or you can choose health and harmony because it's in a bottle, okay? And no, I'm not a doctor and all that stuff. I have the best doctors. The person with the leading COVID clinic in all of India called me about a breakthrough humate product where people got over COVID. This is a leading COVID hospital in India. The guy's a real doctor, for God's sake. You think he risked 40 your reputation? He's got the leading COVID hospital. It's specialized for COVID. He's a medical doctor times 10.
Well, they're debating on a lot of things right now, including is there any other way to treat COVID other than the vaccine? So that information right now they're protecting because it's $1 trillion industry in order to put this jab in everyone's arm.
I know this, and your listeners already know this. If you're going to give me 7 minutes, I'm going to tell you some answers that you can all check out with the full disclaimer, okay? I don't treat disease, or I don't even work. The best doctors don't even talk about disease or prevention either. They create health. Health. Did you hear me?
This requires a big retooling of your brain, everybody, okay? That's why I make every disclaimer And you ain't gonna ever show me anything more sophisticated than a human body. Ever. No invention, no Xbox, no AI. This is actual intelligence, not some synthetic thing to manage your response to COVID, okay? This is raw, unexpurgated. The intelligence and mastery of the life force itself. And I don't know who I can say did it, but it's that. Because these ancient eras, these epochs where before man lived, and even when man came along, in the Willamette Valley, in Oregon, there was a culture that lived for 10,000 years. Their agriculture was so great, they didn't need no plow, they didn't cut down no trees.
They did it, but it's done because these ancient eras, these epochs where before man lived, and even when man came along, in the Willamette Valley, in Oregon, there was a culture that lived for 10,000 years. Their agriculture was so great, they didn't need no plow, they didn't cut down no trees. They knew how to recycle and feed the humate synthesis that nature has. Okay? For 10,000 years, they had the richest culture. They didn't have to chop down a tree or invent a plow. Or kill microbes in the soil. They just recycled all their organic material. Do we do that? Is there any city that does that 100%? Any listener do that 100%? The whole culture did that 100% for 10,000 years. George Washington Krill. Krill. Remember, the krill in the movie, okay? Right. So the krill is a fundamental part of life in the oceans, okay, the food chain. Well, George Washington Krill freaking ran Yale or Harvard, I forget which, for 40 years with a few directors. Back in the 40s, he discovered a lot of this. See, we're putting this all together at the last minute, and we only have about, well, all soil banks will be completely at default and in deficit 100%. No soil will produce any food for any country in about 10 years. Every soil scientist that's willing to tell the truth will tell you that's true. Monsanto or not, places in Iowa, 2,000 acres, no Monsanto Roundup. The soil is done with synthetic sin. It will not yield a plant. It's finished. The topsoil is gone. Fight or flight. You're going to do it because you're mineral deficient and filled with toxins. Okay? This material upgrades oxygen up to 40% in every freaking cell. It's proven by dozens of PhDs. It makes the best use of all your minerals because you're not going to get the minerals you need unless you get this stuff because it's macro, micro, 70 minerals most needed in every freaking molecule. I said every molecule. And it gets into every cell. The best minerals you get are 87% not absorbed. They're only absorbed by the blood if you're lucky. Not within the cell, not within the brain, crossing the blood-brain barrier, because this requires smaller than nano engineering, and nano is safe when nature does it. She did it 75 million years ago. So there are three classes of these molecules, okay? Some are macromolecules, they're not the super tiny.
We're off into a lot of that, and we're going to be bringing a lot of that to you in the future. But basically the message here is the fact that the WDRN network is viable network. We have investors that have looked into the operations that we're suggesting, and we actually have encouraging news that we're...
I want to avoid, hold on, Alan. I want to avoid all forward-making statements. I have many government accredited investors with millions and billions of dollars. I have quite a few. They're accredited by the federal government as investors. Okay? By the federal government as investors. Okay, they have clean money. But right now, I don't have an offer from them or for Allen,
Well,
because
it's in progress is what we
I'm
need.
starting that tomorrow. I'm sorry,
Right.
guys. Starting that tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I get busy starting a proposal to clean money people that have invested money and are respected by the governments of the world, from here to Switzerland and the Federal Reserve, U.S. Department of Treasury. Okay, I'm starting tomorrow to share with them how Allen and World Dominion, registered now, WDR and Radio Resurgence 2.0, New Testament version, hallelujah, could be a part of this overall global campaign.
I like World Dominion Radio Network. That may be a new name for us.
Well, you know what? Everyone can be part of World Dominion. We're all taught to hate the Protestant, the Lutheran, the atheist, the synthetic drug pusher. Hate, pick something to hate. We're all taught it's always conflict. Who beat who in the sports world? Well, that's all great. What about some collaboration or devastation? That's the formula now. You can compete and hate all you want, but if you don't go down the basement and what makes you tick, you won't be ticking that much longer. Because that's what
right.
COVID is going viral. Well, the answer has to go viral. And these people I work with have run billion-dollar companies for decades.
5 to 1 against him falling. 4 to 1 against him falling. 3 to 1. 2 1.
Discover this narrative. Understand what I'm talking about. Do the validation. They have the attorneys and scientists. Believe me, they didn't make and keep billions to accept something foolish. So what I'm saying is big and bad, and yet it's real and true. And I'll prove it in the coming weeks and months.
Eddie, I want to thank you for being part of this today.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is going forward, that the fact that we have, for any other word, an agent working with us,